Hey everyone, I need your attention for 1 minute. This is not one of those ads. This is something that has changed my entire life. If you've been listening to this podcast, you know that this is all about personal development as the foundation for everything good in your life. And this podcast is now sponsored by Growth Day, which is the world's first all-in-one personal development app. I mean, oh my gosh, can you imagine having everything all in one place that you need to create the life that you want? Now you can. So if you've been struggling with your motivation, your mood, your productivity, or your purpose, you have to check this out. Growth Day helps you consciously change your life and achieve your potential. It has all the self-improvement tools, motivational classes, and life coaching all in one place. So many of us want to improve our lives, but the question is how? Where do we start? What do we use? How do you get unstuck? How do you make self-improvement stick? Well, research shows how. It's when you consistently journal, track your habits, set goals, learn from empowering mentors, and challenge yourself that you'll be happier, healthier, and more successful. But let me ask you something. Where do you actually do all of your personal development work? I have to tell you that over 300,000 people use Growth Day for a reason. It works. It's the world's #1 software for self-improvement. Growth Day has an amazing mindset journal that I absolutely love, a habit tracker, and a goal-setting system. In fact, I bet if you went to my stories this week, you probably saw me using the journaling app and telling you to do it too, because it's the first time that journaling has ever actually stuck consistently in my life because of this app. And best of all, Growth Day has live inspirational classes every single week from the world's top motivational speakers and life coaches. These are people who have impacted my life in huge ways. These are mentors who I already knew and loved. In fact, this is something that's so huge for me, you guys. I personally teach a class in Growth Day every single month, and it is one of the most fun things that I get to do, and I'd love to see you there. These classes will truly shift your life. There's always something new that you will learn. So join me and 300,000 achievers growing our lives with actual real intention. Visit growthday.com/Lori for a free trial. Yes, you can try this for free. So go to growthday.com/Lori and go live your best life. You guys, that's growthday.com/Lori. And I can't wait to see you there.
If I'm bored, it's on me. If I don't feel love and gratitude, it's because I'm not giving enough love and gratitude. If I'm not giving back enough, I start to feel sorry for myself because I get into my own story. I get into too much into my own life. Welcome to the Earn Your Happy podcast. I'm Lori Harder, founder of The Bliss Project, 3-time fitness world champion, fitness expert, and cover model turned self-love junkie, lifestyle entrepreneur, and author. Each week, I'll bring you a guest or a thought that will help you bust through your fears, connect to your soul, and get focused and clear so you can elevate your life, business, and relationships. We don't wait until we're ready for someone to tell us we're good enough. We take what we want and we anoint ourselves. Get ready to earn, own, and unapologetically rock your happiness every single day. Are you with me? Here we go. Welcome back to the Earn Your Happy podcast. And it's time for another quickie because there's always time for inspiration. And some exciting stuff coming up is that I really want to get more interactive with my podcast audience because you guys are like exactly my type of people. I figure if you are willing to sit on a podcast for 15 to 60 minutes and listen to all the different topics that we chat about, that I absolutely want to be engaging with you, the exact listener, a lot more. So stay tuned for some fun stuff. We're going to do some really cool giveaways. I'm going to have some cool opportunities for you guys coming up. You just totally heard my up north, which is what we say in the Midwest. For anything that's in the northern middle of the country, we just call it up north. And if you have an accent, it's up north. So anyway, I literally cannot wait to share some of the things that we're doing. I don't have the cherry on the top yet, so we're still going back and forth. So within the next couple of weeks, you'll start hearing some really cool giveaways and fun stuff like that. So you already know that if you listen to the podcast with Evans and I called Questionably Awesome, you know that we give away a t-shirt or a mug or some other swag for the review of the week. And we also shout you out for our questions. So for when you send us questions that you want to hear. And you guys, that podcast is for people who like ridiculousness. If that is not you, it's not your podcast. If it is you, join us over there because it is, I literally added that podcast because I needed an outlet and a place to portray my full spectrum of my personality. And if any of you are listening to this who have a business who feel like you are not dipping into the full spectrum of who you are, you absolutely have opportunity within your life and your business right now. It's just up to you to start thinking more outside of the box and creatively. I was like, yes, my podcast is for this and this and this, but why can't it be this as well if I add a show? So I now have a place where I get to be fully me, and I'm loving it. It's probably one of my favorite episodes that I record all week. So you guys, today I want to share a little bit about really talking about that, the duality of the light and the dark that we all have inside of us, and how important it is to accept both and know that we are so incredibly human. And I was reading in the book, I know you're all going to ask me, so I off and on have been reading from this book over the last 4 months. It's one of those that you can just pick up and read a page or two because you really are going through daily lessons. So this one is called The Lotus and the Lily, and it is by Janet Connor. And it's a 30-day soul program. Access the wisdom of Buddha and Jesus to nourish your beautiful, abundant life. And this is on page 90 of her book. One of the things that she talks about, I love this. She says, step one of forgiveness is to stop feeding your anger, whether this is forgiving you or someone else. She goes on to write, picture your thoughts as blood that feeds your anger, like blood vessels feed a tumor. Stop feeding it. Stop talking about what happened. Stop obsessing about it. There's a famous Native American wisdom tale. A child was mean to a friend and ran to his grandfather to confess. The grandfather said, there are two wolves fighting inside of you. One is mean and greedy, and the other is peaceful and generous. The child asked, which one would win? The elder said, the one you feed. So I loved this passage from her book because it's so basic and so true. And it's something that I always talk about on here, but it's just such a beautiful tale of, it's not that wolf is going away, right? The one that's darkness, or the one that is mean, or the one that is not wanting to forgive you or forgive that other person, or forgive your ex, or forgive your mother, or forgive your mother-in-law. They're always there, right? That mean wolf is always there, but you can absolutely starve it so that it stays tame, it stays quiet, so that it stays muted. And when it does come back up, right? When it does come up and it wants to rear its ugly head, you can absolutely starve that thought. You can let go. You can decide to completely forgive that person. And here's the deal. Some of you are like, I am not ready to forgive. Why would I ever forgive someone for what they did? Why would I ever forgive them for their wrongdoings? That was horrible. They're a horrible person. We all know that forgiveness. No, we don't all know this, right? So I don't want to say that. Forgiveness is about you and letting yourself off the hook. Forgiveness is about you and freeing yourself. Something she goes on to say in this book is to free your prisoners. Free your prisoners. Who are you holding captive? Who are you monitoring all the time? Who do you still feed to keep them alive and keep them miserable? Because technically, that's your prison. Right? You are the guard of that prison, which means they are always there. You're always having to feed them. You're always having to watch over them. You're always they're taking up so much space. So when we let them go and when we cut off the food supply, that's when you really have room for all of the beauty in your life. You don't have to really look at that as a job that you have. And that's what we're doing when we hold these prisoners captive, is we think it's our job to keep them captive. And that is something that takes up so much room. I don't know about you, but if you have more than one job in a day, you're exhausted. So for me, I had to let everyone go and bless them as they left. And something that really helps is to know that we are all on our own paths. And it's so important to understand we all have different perspectives and we're all telling different stories from different angles. We may never know the why. We may never know that, something that we did completely threw someone into a frenzy of being upset about something that we never ever know that we hit on or that we offended them. And that's okay. It's that always making peace. And I talk about this on the podcast all the time, you guys, making peace with what feels unacceptable, right? Making peace with what doesn't feel peaceful, making peace with the incomplete loops, making peace with the thing that you feel you can't let go of, because making peace with that is the only way that you will find peace. Letting it be okay that maybe you've offended someone, letting it be okay that they have offended you. Bless them, release, and move on with your path. But you guys, there's so many different ways to do this. And to be honest, this book is really, really awesome for moving through forgiveness, giving you so many exercises. And I keep on picking it up, but today I just had a little soul hit that maybe there's some people out there who definitely are ready to forgive, make space, and move on. And this is a great book to do that, really starting on that page 80 to 90. It goes on for quite a few chapters of doing some daily exercises to release your prisoners. And I just loved that. So going down the path of what are you feeding? I really want to talk about, so many of you talk about how you feel like you have a fraud complex or you're not yet that person who you see in your mind. And when you act like them or when you put out material like them or when you really step into it, that it doesn't feel like who you are fully, or you feel like you're a fraud, or you feel like people are going to think you're a fraud because you're not fully that person yet. And you have to look at what vision you are feeding, because if you're feeding the fraud, you're going to feel like a fraud. If you're feeding the vision of where you're going and you're doing those actions, action is the only way to shift identity. You don't think yourself into that person. You start acting like that person, right? If you want to change your body, like if we want to take this right down to the physical, if you want to change your body and become that fit, healthy person, you have to take the actions until you start waking up and you are that person, right? If you want the new habit, you're not necessarily going to have the habit while you're taking all of those actions, but one day you're going to wake up and be like, wow, this is pretty locked in. Like, I don't really have to think about this anymore. So the path to getting there and being the person who is doing that is through action. And you're either feeding the vision and feeding the hope and feeding the fact that you're doing the things and acknowledging it and saying, I'm so proud of you. This is how you take the action to become the person. Then that is the vision that will be. What are you feeding? If any of your thoughts are feeding your prisoners, right? If any of your thoughts are feeding the old stories or why you can't, if you're hanging out with people who are feeding your prisoners, who are feeding those old stories, that is what will be. So you have to take some drastic measures in your life in order to start making sure those other visions will come true, the higher visions, the visions that make you feel good, that make you know where you're going. And this is not easy because those other visions start to get hungry. They start to reach out. They start to tap you on the shoulder. Those other people start to say mean things to you. They start to yell at you. They start to get mad at you for starving them. And there is a point where it is really hard. It is really, 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 really hard to decide what you want to feed. But if you know the outcome is that what you feed is what will be. What you feed is what will grow. What you feed is where you will go. You have to remember that. So in your brain, you have to say, oh my God, I'm feeding this right now. Don't beat yourself up. Here's where people get stuck. is when they notice they're feeding their prisoners, or they notice they're feeding their fear, and they say, I'm doing it again. Oh my God, I suck at this. There's no time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. You have to say, that's okay. It's okay. Acknowledge it. Forgive yourself. Give yourself some love around it. Say, that's so normal. This is old programming. You feel scared because that's familiar. It feels easier to go back and feed your prisoners than it does to feed the vision, because the vision is unfamiliar. So go ahead and start painting a picture, like just a little Bob Ross, a little bit of love, a little bit of new, fresh paint onto that vision of where you want to go. Start small and just notice the transition from feeding the prisoners and feeding the old fears to feeding the new one. It doesn't feel normal at first, but keep painting it. See if you can add a little more color, a little more sunshine to where you want to go, and just throw some love on the fact that you're a human and that no matter what, that other wolf, right? The dark wolf is inside of you. And that's great. They're there for contrast. They're there for appreciation. They're there for growth. Like, you're not a bad person. You're not a weak person. We all have it. You guys, I wake up with it every morning, and the dark wolf is like, I'm here first. Feed me first. I came to the bowl first. And my other one, my peaceful one, my inspired one is like, I'm still sleeping. So I have to wake it up. Like, I have to do the things that wake that other one up and starve the one that's like, oh, feed me first because I'm hungry. I'm present. I'm here. I'm negative. I'm here to show you what you could lose and what could get taken away and who's against you. And I'm like, oh my God, I cannot live this way. Are you kidding me? Like, okay, love you. Love that you're here. Love that you shed light on my two choices, which is so awesome that I have the freedom to choose, but I'm not going to choose you today. And I'm so grateful for the contrast. So let me start working my way into the other person that I want to be. I swear it's every night, you guys. It's like I go to sleep and I get spiritual amnesia and I forget who the F I am every single night. And I'm like, okay, who do you want to be today? How do you want to feel today? What do you want to feed today? What will shake up the energy and make your life different from yesterday, right? If I'm bored, it's on me. If I don't feel love and gratitude, it's because I'm not giving enough love and gratitude. If I'm not giving back enough, I start to feel sorry for myself because I get into my own story. I get too much into my own life. I focus on what I don't have instead of giving what I do have and feeling so grateful and feeling so purposeful. So you guys, I'm sending you so much love today. And I hope that this helps, knowing that we have the darkness in us and it's great. It's beautiful, but we don't have to feed it. It's important to see it. It's important to have it. But what you feed is what will grow, and it's where you will go. So keep feeding the you inside of you so she or he gets bigger and bigger and bigger and can just recognize when you're throwing some treats to the old dark wolf. So yeah, I don't know. We're talking about wolves today. So you guys, thank you so much for always tuning in. And if you loved this episode, it really, 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 really means the world to me when you guys share it, when you share your takeaways, when you share it with a friend. Because to be quite honest with you, my podcast is one of my favorite things I do. And as this grows, I can give it more time. I can give it more love because it can take over all of the other things that I'm doing and I can spend some more time on it. So if you guys would share this, if you guys would rate and review it, that's really where this podcast grows, and I appreciate it. And I can't do it without you. So here I am asking, hoping that you see something in your life that you can unapologetically ask for, because it is your passion and you are meant to do it. And we all need help. We don't do this alone, you guys. I have such an army of people who help me, but it's only because I had to help myself first and I had to ask. So hope that you're always learning from exactly what I'm doing, because you can do exactly what I'm doing if you want to. That's all. Over and out. Signing off. Love you guys. Bye-bye. Thank you guys so much for spending this time with me on the Earn Your Happy podcast. I am so glad that you stopped by. If you could take 1 second to share this episode with someone you think would love it, that would be absolutely amazing, and we would be forever grateful. Also, please leave us a review if you feel so moved by going to iTunes and leaving us an honest thought, an honest comment. Tell us what you think. Tell us what you want to hear more of. It would really help us out on our journey to helping thousands and thousands of people. Until then, don't forget to earn your happy. Thanks again, guys. Bye-bye. Hey, I know if you're listening to this podcast that you have big dreams and big goals. And one of the things that can really stop you is struggling with your marketing. Trust me, I have been there. Are you using 10 different systems just to build your online business? Then I want you to try Kajabi. Kajabi helps you build your web pages, set up funnels, and sell your courses, content, coaching, or communities. You've been hearing me talk a lot about funnels on this podcast and the importance of your email list. You can get a free trial at kajabi.com. That's Kajabi.com. I've talked about Kajabi before, but here's something that's super cool and new. They just rolled out an AI assistant for creating your online course curriculum. And this means you just type in a topic that you want to create on a course or webinar and bam, it just generates a sample outline for you. It takes a ton of the hard work away. Of course, you're going to customize it to be your own, but this really helps you get over the struggle of how in the world to start, which is where most people stop. If you're like me, starting is always the hardest part, and that's what makes Kajabi so popular. They've made it easier for creators to build web pages, build courses, build coaching programs, build membership sites, build checkout pages, and build email funnels. So if you're struggling with any of those, you got to go check it out. Go to Kajabi.com. Kajabi was really the first all-in-one system and is trusted by over 100,000 creators. I think that's good enough for me. Also has influencers and marketers who use this. And now their smart AI platform makes it easy to take what you know and turn it into an online course and business. Go start building with a free trial at kajabi.com. That's Kajabi.com.
Hey, do you know what the big secret is this year? And it shouldn't be a secret because this should be your biggest focus. It is building your community. I am always working on building and nurturing my community, and everyone is talking about the power of community. Without an online community, you just cannot grow organically or create a real movement, which is what I know that we're all after. And you can build trust or monetize your audience. When you get community right, not only does your audience grow faster, but so do your sales. But where's everybody going to be managing their communities these days? And a lot of online entrepreneurs and thought leaders are turning to Circle.so. Circle is an all-in-one community platform. It lets you host content and create discussions, live streams, group chats, and memberships all under your own brand. And what's so cool about Circle.so is that you don't even need a website or Facebook group. Instead, Circle lets you build your own community site where you can host content and manage your members. You can even create locked and unlocked content spaces, groups, and classes. How freaking cool is that? You can put your content behind a paywall too, and you can charge different amounts of money for different spaces on your community site. Circle.so is famously easy to use, and it has a free 14-day trial for you, so you can go check it out, see if you like it, see if you love all the options. Just go to Circle.so. Go check it out right now, you guys. Imagine being able to manage your community, start group chats and live classes, and accept payments all in one place. Kind of mind-blowing since this is usually spread all over the place. You have to log into so many different things. If this is the year to capture, organize, and monetize your community, head over to Circle.so. You can get a free trial and start building your online community right now. Just go to Circle.so. You guys, you get the 14-day free trial. So just go and see if it's for you. It's going to streamline everything and make your life so much easier. It's so freaking cool. Want to know a huge secret to my success? Okay, not only my success, but just about every single person that I have interviewed on this podcast who is successful has this in common. You guys, they love to journal. They capture their life lessons and what they're grateful for. But a lot of people don't keep this up consistently. And most people do know that the research shows that journaling deepens your gratitude and increases self-awareness. But did you also know that journaling decreases stress and helps you achieve your goals faster? In fact, journaling is a huge differentiator between average performers at work and high-performing people. It leads to longer-term clarity, confidence, and success. So why don't more people journal? Why didn't I journal consistently? Honestly, they don't like staring at a blank page. It's hard to carry a book around with you or a notepad, and they just don't even know what to write about, or they just forget. That's why I know that you're going to love Growth Day. It's the world's #1 system for self-improvement, and it's like all-in-one personal development in an app. And it has an awesome digital journal, and people love it. Growth Day's digital journal has hundreds of research-backed writing prompts for self-reflection, positive mindset, confidence building, and success. I use them all the time, and it makes me think in ways that I typically don't, and it makes me ask myself better questions, which we all know gets better results in our life. It even has prompts that help you develop a daily, weekly, or monthly habit of reflecting on your life and identifying areas to grow. So it's a perfect time of year to start journaling, you guys. When you sign up at Growth Day, you also get systems for habit tracking, goal setting, and scoring, and improving every area of your life. Best of all, I get to teach there too, you guys. I'm so excited. I hope that I get to see you. I teach live in Growth Day every single month with a new topic just for you. So join me there. Start your free trial at growthday.com/Lori.